Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata Shapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidyanam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So this is our last class of the year, and we will reconvene. I think it's the 7, 8, 9, the 10th. Let me confirm that. Yes, Wednesday, the 10th of January, after today. Do you have your copy of the text?
I do.
All right, where are we?
Verse 85.
Okay.
Nanvaipam Drishe Sankrante Niraya Pinde Ni Vagnavet Mukha Bhasa Vadityeta Dadarshe Tannirakritam. Objection. Is it not a change on the part of the self to pervade the intellect like fire pervading a mass of iron? Reply. We have refuted this in the example of the face and its reflection in a mirror.
Yes. So the idea here is, according to some schools of philosophy, and certainly according to Western thought, the immortal part of us, the transmigrating soul, or the soul that goes to heaven or hell, has qualities of will that can change. It experiences this and that. And here Shankara is saying, no, that appears to be true only in the state of ignorance. And what changes is the vijnana maya kosha, the subtlest part of the intellect. And here he's going back to his metaphor of the bimba, the mirror, and the pratibimba, the reflection. So if I go into the mirror in the morning and I make faces at myself in the mirror, the mirror undergoes no real change, even though the face in the mirror undergoes changes. Likewise, If the moon is shining on the water in the jar and I touch the water, is the moon broken or is the reflection of the moon in the water broken? Now, this is just an intellectual exercise unless we use this as an invitation to investigation, atma vichara. So as I'm going through the day, not just in my meditation seat, we do it there. Stop for a moment. Turn the attentive faculty within. Practice our subject-object discrimination. If it is seeable, cognizable, knowable, it is part of what we call the upadis, the equipment. And see whether or not the knower ever undergoes any real change. We need to do this over and over and over again until we're convinced. No, the self in me never changes. It is unborn, unchanging, deathless. It's only the appearing self, the fake self, the shadow self that seems to undergo change. Next verse.
Krishna yolo hita bhasa mityeta drishta muchyate drishta darshanta tulyatvam na tu sarvatmana kachit. That black iron appears to be red is only an example to illustrate the fact that the non-conscious intellect appears to be conscious. An illustration and its subject can nowhere be absolutely similar in all respects.
Yes, so all these similarities, these metaphors, these examples, none of them exactly describe the situation. And here, of course, he's talking about the lump of iron. You put it into the fire, the forge, and it becomes red hot and luminous. It borrows the dharmas of the fire. And here, what they're talking about is, does the jiva ever become truly sentient? No. My favorite one is still the reflection of the light in the mirror. So at night, I turn on these LED lights and I have my little hand mirror and I can move it around and shine the reflected light into people's faces. Is there a light in the mirror or not? Not really. If I had two mirrors, oh, there's two lights. No, one light. But it's the nature of the mirror to reflect. Likewise, it is the nature of the buddhi to allow the appearance of this ahankara. It causes a sense of I to appear. That's our experience. I got up this morning, I made my bed, I took a shower, I brushed my teeth, I did the dishes. What I did that. Well, it's not a solid thing. It's a function. Karta, the agent in the subtle intellect. Go look for it. You cannot find a thing called a permanent person. Don't believe me. Next verse.
Question, Jim.
Yes, sir.
When he's mentioning the non-conscious intellect, is that the Vijnanamaya kosha?
Yes, it is. When he means this is, can one thought know another thought?
I see.
See, the thoughts themselves are inert. I go back to Swamiji's, he used to call it his spiritual algebra. So you got to see my air blackboard here. So we'll subtleize it. We'll use V for Vijnana Maya Kosha, or we can use B, that's better, for Buddhi, intellect, equals A, awareness, plus TF, thought flow. That's what the Buddhi is. It's the awareness of the flow of thought. One of the kinds of thoughts that it's aware of is ahankriti, thoughts that create this personal sense of self. I'm good, I'm bad, I'm tall, I'm short, I did this, I did not do that. Now, if we take the TF and we move it to the other side of the equal sign, buddhi or mind, minus the flow of thought, is just pure awareness. The intellect is not inherently aware. You are awareness. So you were like the dude looking at the video screen or the monitor of your computer. And up comes photos, that's like sensory data. Up comes your spreadsheet, that's like the mind. Up comes your email client, that's like the intellect. In other words, sense perception, feeling, thought, memory, images are only a difference in what appears in the field of awareness. Now, when thoughting of its various kind or vrittis of the various kinds are happening, it is like making your hands into a tube. And if you look through that tube, it appears like your peripheral vision is occluded. Stop the mind is like taking your hands away. Has your eyeball changed any? Nope. Then you see, just like when you take your hands away, oh, my vision is vast. So also, I am vast, without edges, like an ocean of bliss. Ananda Sindhu. Is that useful, David?
Yes, that was good, Jim. Thank you.
Next verse.
Tatheva chetana bhasam chittam chaitanya bhavet mukha bhaso yatha darshe abhasash chodito mrisha. Reflecting consciousness, therefore, the intellect appears to be conscious like a mirror reflecting a face and appearing like it. It has already been said that the reflection is not real.
Yes. So Just like the face in the mirror is not a real face, the light in the hand mirror, well, it kind of shines, but there's no real light in the mirror. Likewise, the feeling that I am Jim, and I, the individual, do this and that, and I feel such and so, and I think stuff, that I is just a kind of thinking. It is chit chaya. It is a shadow self, a reflection of consciousness caught in the web of thought. Stop the mind, and that personal sense of self stops. In the mind, and that ego sense thins out. When the mind is triggered, it's reactive. That ego sense gets very fat and thick. How could you have said that to me? I have to take care of my rights, my needs. I need mine. It's very fat and thick. The fatter and thicker it is, the more the mind suffers. This is why it's so important. Don't try to be an enlightened person. Are you enlightened or not? Who is it who's concerned with that question? It's the ego. Be Brahman. Know you are Brahman. And have no concern for the stupid machinations of the body, mind, intellect. Cast it away. Disregard it like you do your shadow. Let it fulfill its prarabdha. You are not the body. You are not this false counterfeit self. You have always been Satchidananda. Next verse.
Chittam chetan namityeta chastra yukti vivarjitam dehasyapi prasangah syaj chakshuradestateva. It is not supported by the scriptures or reasoning that the intellect is conscious, for in that case, the body, the eye, etc., would also be so.
Yes. And we assume the body is conscious, even though our direct experience is that it's not. It moves, no question about that. But you turn on a hose and it moves. It's just because there's energy. Hose does what I call the snake dance. It's an open-ended sine wave is what it actually is. But if I know I'm not my body's an object of awareness, why do I think that Aditi's body is conscious? That's not who she is. I look into her eyes, there's a sentient being looking out. It's myself also. Next verse.
Tadapyastav tadapasyastitvati chetan lokayat sangateha na cha shirasmiti yadyabhaso na chetasi. Objection. Let them be so. Reply, no, for in that case, the position of the Charvaka philosophers comes in. Moreover, the knowledge I am Brahman also will not be possible if there be no reflection of the self in the intellect.
So again, what he's arguing with is other popular schools of philosophy here, the Charvakas at the time. These are dead philosophical schools by and large. But we have echoes of them today. Many, many people who consider themselves religious, I am going to go to heaven. One of the foundational ideas of Christianity as it's come to be practiced today is the resurrection of the dead, the reconstitution of bodies. The sense of their immortality, the sense of some corporeal existence. I'm going to go to heaven and be with Aunt Mary and my mother. Islam, oh, I'll have 72 virgins. Even those religions like Judaism, which posits Sheol, kind of a place of the shades, that there's some sort of existence of a ghost-like identity. And what Vedanta says is the equipment, whatever plane of reality it appears on, is fundamentally jada, insentient. You are sentience itself. You pervade all realms. No place where consciousness is not. But the names and forms are jada, they're insentient. And all we have to do is look to our direct experience. You open up a photo album and you look at yourself. I was looking at a photo of myself when I was 9. There I am on my little horse with the little hat and the boots and the crop, ready to go into a horse show. Where is that body gone? Where are those thoughts gone? Where are those feelings gone? Where's the environment gone? 65 years later, different body, different feelings, different thoughts, different environments. But I am the same yesterday, today, as the Hebrew scriptures say. But I feel this and I feel that. Now, wait a minute. Feelings are objects of awareness. You know feelings. You aren't a feeling. It's because of adhyasa, superimposition. I get all tangled up with that stuff. Next verse.
Sadasmiti theo bhave vyartham syat tattvam vyartham syat tattvamasyapi yushmadasmadvibhagage syadartha vadidam vachaha. The teaching, thou art that, will surely be useless in the absence of the knowledge, I am Brahman. This teaching is of use to those only who are acquainted with the discrimination between the self and the non-self.
So he's summing up this section. If one approaches the teaching, thou art that, tattvamasi, and one thinks that the ego sense or the body is godlike or going to become godlike. I was having an interesting conversation with a person this week, and his whole family have been devotees of Meher Baba. I don't know much about this great 20th century saint, but he is attributed by his disciples to be the avatar of the age. So this particular person goes on and on about Baba is God, Baba is this, Baba is that, and there's only one avatar at a time, and there are 5 blah blah blahs and all this kind of cosmology and stuff like that. But whatever he was saying about Baba, his thought is, well, I'm having a tough time this lifetime. Maybe I'll do better next time. No capacity today to understand his own immortality. If we define an avatar as a divine incarnation of God, Meher Baba had a particular body, mind, intellect that did its particular duty in the world according to Ishvara the Lord. But the being that he is Brahman. Even if in your intellect you do not know this, you are a divine incarnation of God. Your BMI, body, mind, intellect, just has a different role in this world. Just like your nose are not your toes. Your thumb is not your elbow. But you, as an ego, pervades your body. So also Brahman pervades all of this. So to understand the Mahavakya, Tattvamasi, we have to look at the implied meaning, the Lakshana. Tat, that, not the physical universe, not any form of God, not the total mind, not the total vasana, Brahman. Prajnana, Brahman. Brahman is consciousness. You are not your body, you are not the prana, you are not the feelings, you are not the thoughts, you are not even the vasanas. You are witnessing consciousness. Experienced as I. That self in you, that Brahman, they are the same thing. I am Atma. Next verse.
Mamedam pratyayo gyeyo yushmateva na sanshayah ahamityasmadishtaha syadayam smiti chobhayo. Mine and it are ideas predicated of the non-self, and the idea I of the ego. The ideas such as I am a man are predicated of both the self and the non-self.
Yes. So it's this confusion. I am a man is a phrase that I can use to describe the body. Aditi can say, I am a woman. It describes the body. But the other piece that goes on in my intellect is I attribute those qualities to myself. I am Jim. I am this body. You are Aditi. You are that body. This body is a man, but I am not that. And neither are you. Will you intellectually know it? Next verse.
Anyonya pekshaya tesham pradhana gunateshyate visheshan na visheshyatvam tatha grahyam hi yuktitaha. They should be regarded as principal and subordinate with relation to one another, and should be taken as the qualified or qualifying according to reason.
So, I is the principle, me. Man is the qualifier. It doesn't really qualify me. It's adhyasa, superimposition. See if I can give a more worldly example. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin had to give up wearing his general's uniform when he became the civilian Secretary of Defense. You can look back, 5, 6 years ago, and you can see video of him in his general's uniform. Oh, there's General Austin. We see him now give a speech, and he's Secretary Austin. But the man has not changed. Only the clothing and the job. Likewise, you wear your body-mind intellect like a costume. You are not. And in fact, as the years go by, you change the costume. It's funny, young people, even up to their 30s, they don't realize when they see us old people. We were teenagers once. We were youngsters. But the costume changes. And the role in the play changes. Got different lines. But you, Nirupaham, without a form. Nirmalam, without any dirt or taint. Nirgunaha, without any qualities of mind. Achintyam, unthinkable, yet directly knowable. Swayambhu, self-evident. Next verse.
Mamedam dvayamapyeta madhyamasya visheshanam dhani go manyatha tadvaya deho hankarturevacha. Both the ideas mine and it are qualifications of the ego, as for example, a man having wealth and a man having a cow. Similarly, the gross body is the qualification of the ego.
So a person can have wealth, another person has a cow. Aditi has a young, attractive body. I have a cow. Just the difference in upadi, equipment. That's all it is. I am not the body. It's mine right now. These are all qualifications of the ego sense. Going on.
Buddhayarudharam sada sarvam sahankartracha sakshinaha tasmat sarvavabhasogyaha kinchit pasyasprichan sada. Everything pervaded by the intellect, together with the ego, is the qualification of the witness. Without being connected with anything and pervading everything by means of its reflection, the self is therefore always of the nature of knowledge itself.
Yes. So when we have this Brahman contact, Ida will use the term asparsha yoga. Asparsha means untouched, yoga means join. So because consciousness is all pervading, it pervades the body and enlivens it. So it makes the body move, it makes the cells divide. It's what makes the senses perceive. It what makes the prana move in the body. It's what makes the heart feel. It's what makes the intellect think. You go on YouTube, I've just become fascinated with all the discoveries that the James Webb Space Telescope is finding. These brilliant minds, one that could build an instrument like this, then launch it 1,000,000 miles into space, then develop the capacity to interpret the data with the red shift and spectrographic analysis and all the stuff. So that these tiny little beings on this little rock Earth are able to come to conclusions about the origins of the universe. 15 billion years ago. Seeing things 90 billion light years away. Amazing. Just amazing. So in no way are we denigrating the equipment. But the thinking and acting cannot be done without the touch of the life force, which is you. And when the equipment falls away, you are still you. You know, people will ask if someone has Alzheimer's or dementia, are they really still in there? Of course they are. It's only the bodies that have become damaged. Self hasn't gone anywhere. Oh, mommy died. Where has she gone? She didn't go anywhere. The body dropped off. If I break the coffee mug, where does the space go? If I move the coffee mug in space, does space move? Next verse.
Pratiloma midam sarvam yathoktam loka buddhitaha aviveka dhiyamasti nasti sarvam vivekinam. All this non-self exists only for those people who are undiscriminating, but it does not exist at all for men of knowledge.
Yes, and women of knowledge. So if you are aviveka, you lack discrimination. the discriminating person in the universe, the equipment is seen but not real. For the person who lacks discrimination, I think it's real. If for a moment you close your eyes and visualize a piece of fudge, open your eyes, you know that's just an imagination. Wondrous is the mind that can fork into subject object. You haven't undergone any change, yet the image of the fudge appears. But in deep sleep, you have a Varana Shakti. You forget you are the waker. And then if you dream about fudge, it seems real. So the person who's viveka without discrimination, they're spiritually asleep. So when the world of name and form appears, I think it's real. For the person of wisdom, it's just a light show. Una and karma, qualities of mind and the force of the past maturing. Always appearing in the now, by the mysterious Maya Shakti of me. And she knows self is never. Listen carefully. Some of us think in the spiritual life it's going to mean I hit all the green lights of life. We prayed, we believed in Lord Jesus Christ as our personal Savior. We were supposed to be blessed, and unexamined, that means I'm going to get what I want. Is that our idea of being blessed? But that's not the promise of the spiritual life. The promise of the spiritual life is whatever movie shows up, a romance, a situation comedy, a thriller, a horror film, I am always the uninvolved. So as the movie changes, I have samadrishta, equality of vision. I have mature vairagya, I've become a tyagi. I've abandoned concern. Next verse.
अन्वय व्यतिरेकौ हि पदार्थस्य पदस्य च स्यादेतदहमित्यत्र युक्तिरेवावधारणे. Agreement and contrariety with regard to words and with regard to their meanings are the only means by which the meaning implied by the word I may be ascertained.
So when someone uses the word I, we need to understand how are they using it. Now, this used to confuse me in my early sadhana. For example, we'd be at dinner with Swamiji in the Bhojasala, I think they called it, the ashrams. And Swamiji would say, "Pass me the chutney." He's identified. It doesn't mean we have to talk funny. Yet, there are particular schools of Buddhist monks who will say, this one is going to the store today. This one is driving to Burlingame. This one got a cold this week. They use this language to constantly remind themselves and one another, I am not the body. It's not necessary. You can do that if you wish. But we use language to describe things that we know aren't real all the time. Clearest example is, oh, there was such a beautiful sunset yesterday. You know the sun does not set into the ocean. The earth spins. But nobody says, oh, there was such a beautiful earth spin last night. Nobody says that. Nobody looks up and says, oh, there's not a star in the sky tonight if there's overhead clouds. Of course we know there are stars. We know our senses do not report truth. There I am at the West Oakland BART station, and I look down the tracks, and to my eyes, the tracks meet in the distance. So the BART train is going to crash. Or even more funny, as the BART train goes down the tracks, it gets smaller. How did that? What happened to the people inside? It got really, really small. You know, it doesn't get small. It's an optical illusion. Look at a painting where they use perspective. How do they make it seem like the people are there in the distance? What do?
Paint them smaller.
You paint them smaller. So you don't have to talk funny. It's to know the truth. What is the truth? The self in me is the self in all. That self is Brahman. This world is nothing but the play of consciousness. It's all Brahman. And it comes about sankalpena, by means of imagination. Take it easy. Don't worry. And if you worry, don't worry about worrying. What do I know about all the forms? Impermanence. They are ephemeral. They're like the foam in the ocean. Next verse.
Nadrakshama Brahmamidyasmin Sushuptenya Nam Namanagapi Navarayati Drishtim Swam Pratyayam Tu Nishedhati. Waking up from deep sleep, one says, I did not see anything at all in that state. From this, it is clear that one denies the existence of the knower, knowing, and the known in deep sleep, but not that of knowledge itself.
So here he's dealing with this fundamental notion. Am I conscious in deep sleep or not? Many people get very confused about it. For example, Swamiji would say, I never sleep. And devotees would say, oh, Swamiji's up all night. He never falls asleep. He just lies there in bed and looks at the ceiling. No. It means the self is always conscious, illuminating the three states of mind, waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. And when we say dreaming here, we mean all the altered states. If you take LSD or drink too much wine or anything like that. And here he's talking about how I know. In the morning when I woke up, I can say, oh, I slept so soundly. I don't remember a thing. Very simple. If I were to ask Aditi, did I sleep well last night? She doesn't know. She wasn't there. Did you sleep well last night? Yes?
Yes,
How do you know it?
it was there.
You can remember. It is like the difference between being blind and closing your eyes. When you close your eyes, you're not blind, but your vision is occluded. You are seeing the back of your eyelids. If you were truly unconscious in deep sleep, if the phone rang, it couldn't wake you up. Something must be there. All right, next verse. By the way, if you struggle with this idea of am I conscious or unconscious in deep sleep, don't worry about it. Nobody ever got enlightened in deep sleep. Just put it on the shelf. Focus on the waking state. That's where the transformation happens. Going on.
Swayam Jyotirna hi Drishtur Ityevam Samvido Stitam Kautastham Cha Tatha Tasyah Pratyayasya Tu Luptatam Swayameva Pravichhastram Pratyayava Gati Prithak. The scriptures themselves discriminate between knowledge itself on the one hand and the knower, knowing, and the known on the other, and prove that the former is changeless and really existing, and that the latter deviate from existence, as they say. It is self-luminous, and the knowledge of the knower does not cease to exist.
Yes. So yourself is kautastam, always still established. You are swayam jyoti, self-luminous, self-evident. ever illuminating the knower, knowing, and known functions in the equipment. The best way I've been able to describe it, this hand is like the self, always shining. Here is the mind, waking state. Dream state, folded up in deep sleep. Now watch carefully. Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And when the mind returns, oh my gosh, there's nobody there. That's what happens. You go nowhere. You are kutastha, established like a still moment. Next verse.
There are two together.
Okay.
Evam vikyata vakyarthaye shruti loka prasiddhitaha shrutis tattvam asityaha shroturmoha panutyate brahma dasharathe ryatvad dukyate panudatam tasya vishnutva sambodhe na yatnat taramuchivan. Just as Brahma removed the ignorance of the son of Dashrath by means of words only, but did not teach him any action in order to remove it, so that he might know that he was Vishnu, so the Shruti teaches, one, thou art that, in order that one's ignorance may be removed when one has learnt the meanings of the subordinate sentences according to the Shrutis and popular grammar.
Yes. So he sums up this idea using an example from scripture. The point is, my problem is ignorance. Where does the ignorance occur? It occurs in the mind. The self is never really covered by ignorance. Even a person who thinks they're ignorant, they think they're not realized. They think they have a miserable life as a body. If you ask them, do you exist? Yes, I exist. What's your existence? Misery. Do you know you're miserable? Oh, do I know how miserable I am? I shine, I know, is the direct experience. But in the mind, because of ignorance, that's where the ignorance occurs, is this adhyasa, superimposition, meaning I think I'm the body. I think I'm the body plus the personality. And there is no other moksha, no other liberation than the deeply rooted conviction in the subtle intellect. Not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the intellect. And that witnessing consciousness. What is this consciousness? It's not in the phenomenal world. It's not in the world of thoughts and feelings, the total mind. It's not even the controller God, Ishvara. Rajnanam Brahma. Brahman is consciousness. And that witnessing consciousness in you, Twam, and that grounded being of the entire creation. same thing. Birthless, changeless, deathless. Sat, pure existence. Chit, I shine, always as awareness. Ananda, the fountainhead, the source of all the joy the mind can experience. This. All right, perfect place to stop today. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you.